Good day everyone, I am Denise Kate Manuel and let us welcome our guest speaker for today, Miss Clarissa Manuel, Miss Jaya Borromeo, and Miss Micaela Henson.
Good day, everyone. We will start our discussion for today about the Republic Act 7277, known as the Magna Carta for Disabled Persons. It is a Philippine law that aims to promote the rehabilitation, self-development, and self-reliance of disabled individuals. It emphasizes equal opportunities in various aspects, including education, employment, health services, and social integrations. The example of these provisions will be discussed by Ms. Clarissa Manuel.
Example of provision. First, education. Schools are required to provide facilities and support to ensure disabled students have equal access to education. For instance, this includes providing special education programs and accessible schools infrastructure. And second, employment. Employers are encouraged to hire qualified disabled individuals and provide reasonable workplace accommodation such as modified workstation and flexible working hours. Third, health services. The law mandates accessible healthcare facilities and services for disabled persons, ensuring they receive the medical attention they need without discrimination. Importance of this example of provision is promotes inclusion, ensure that disabled individuals are integrated into society, reducing stigma and promoting equality, empowers individuals by providing opportunities for education and employment. It helps disabled persons achieve self-reliance and self-sufficiency, and improves quality of life. Access to healthcare and social services enhances the well-being and quality of life for disabled persons. And last, economic contribution. Encouraging the employment of disabled individuals allows them to contribute economically, benefiting society as a whole. That's all.
Overall, the Magna Carta for Disabled Persons is crucial for fostering a more inclusive and equitable society. So for our next discussion, we will be talking about the Republic Act 10533, also known as the Enhanced Basic Education Act of 2013, introduced the Philippine program in the Philippines. This law extended the basic education cycle from 10 to 13 years, adding kindergarten and 2 years of senior high schools, grade 11 and 12. It also included provisions for inclusive education, ensuring that the diverse needs of all learners, including those with disabilities, are met. So for further explanations of this Republic Act and its examples, let us call on Ms. Jaya Borromeo.
Here are the examples. First, extended education cycle. Students now undergo a full 12 years of basic education, which better prepares them for higher education and employment. For instance, a student completing grade 12 with a vocational track can directly enter the workforce with relevant skills. Second, inclusive education. Schools are required to provide support for students with disabilities, such as creating accessible facilities and offering specialized instruction. For example, a visually impaired student might receive textbooks in Braille and have access to a resource teacher. Now here are the importance. First, global competitiveness. The extended education cycle aligns the Philippine education system with global standards, improving students' competitiveness in the international job market. Second, holistic development. The K-12 program And lastly, equity and accessibility. By addressing the diverse needs of learners, including those with disabilities, the law promotes equity in education, ensuring that all students have the opportunity to succeed.
So let's tackle the last one, the Department of Education, also known as the DepEd. Issues guidelines and policies known as the DepEd orders to support the implementation of inclusive education. These orders provide directions for the development and implementation of inclusive practices in schools, ensuring that all students, including those with disabilities, receive appropriate education and support. So for the further discussion, let's call on Ms. Micaela Nelson.
Example of DepEd orders. The first one is DepEd Order number 21 Series 2020. This order provides guidelines for the proper implementation of the basic education learning continuity plan in the face of the COVID-19 pandemic, emphasizing inclusive education. The second one is DepEd Order number 72 Series 2009. This order mandates the implementation of the child protection policy, ensuring a safe and supportive environment for all students. The third one is DepEd Order number 43 Series 2013. This orders outlines the policies and the guidelines for the implementation of the K-12 basic education program, including provision for inclusive education. The importance of DepEd orders. The first one is standardization. They create a uniform set of guidelines that schools must follow, ensuring consistent implementation of inclusive education practices. The second one is accountability. These orders hold schools accountable for providing equal education opportunities to all students, including those with special needs. The third one is support and resources. They often include provision for teachers' trainings, resources, and support system necessary for the effective implementation of inclusive education. The fourth and the last is early intervention. By promoting early intervention programs, DepEd orders help identify and address learning and developmental issues at early stage, improving long-term education outcomes for students.
Overall, DepEd orders are crucial in ensuring that inclusive education is effectively implemented, providing all students with the opportunity to learn and succeed in a supportive environment. So that's all for today, and thank you so much for listening.